tech nerds, hello tech world. This is Fabio and Jörg from Bizzlogic, and today I thought we will bring you something really cool, which is our Gaussian Splatting pipeline. Jörg and I have been talking about this in a few videos already, but today we thought we're gonna show you this on a really specific example. If you may have noticed from our LinkedIn post, we have been at Web Summit last week and have not been talking about it at all, but we used that occasion to create something really cool. Jörg, maybe you want to introduce the topic.
Yeah, absolutely. So I waited for the last day of Web Summit to basically walk around the fair hall and just catch a little bit of the atmosphere. Maybe I'm just jumping right into it. As you can see here, this is a very rough scan because it was already a bit dark. I was also a little bit tired at the end of 3 days of the Web Summit experience. So I was walking around this area here, which I think it's Pavilion 4 actually. It's written here as a 4. As you can see here, this is what I captured just with my phone. I was there about 3 minutes, and I can show you where I was walking around. So these icons here, this is the pictures that I've taken. So this is not
the
complex
pathway basically, or
exactly, this is the path I was walking along and taking pictures. You could take just a video, but I found out it's still better to take pictures because you can decide yourself when you want to make a little break, where you want to have more pictures of or more detail. So you can see I just walked around here, basically just one way to the right, one way to the left, then a little bit to the stage, one turn around and then back, and then also walking around a little bit into this crowded area here at the back. The problem is with too many humans, they're moving around and then they don't get captured, and then they end up creating this weird things. So look at this. This is but to be honest, this is kind of how it feels to be in Web Summit, right? It's like so many people walking around, everything turns to a haze at the end. At least that's my experience. Maybe other people are better at this, but at the end of the third day, this is how it feels. So it's it's an accurate depiction of how Web Summit feels.
But can you quickly explain what we're having a look at here now?
This is Postshot, right? This is actually a freeware program that you can use. They're still in beta, right? Yeah. But it's really free to use, and I can absolutely recommend it because it's very easy to use. It does the most things for you. You still have enough ways to change things, so it's very good to tweak little settings to get a better result. This result is, I would say, suboptimal because it's very blurry sometimes. If I would have like a professional camera with me, this would look better. But I think it's enough to capture the whole vibe of the Web Summit. So what we're looking here is the basic Gaussian splatting model with nothing else in there. And to make it actually walkable, this is what we want to do. To be able to walk around this environment with an avatar, with a little bit of interaction, which means lights coming from the actual light sources. You cast a shadow on the floor. For that, you have to recreate all areas that you are touching with your avatar. And Gaussian splattings can't do that yet, because it's basically just blurry particles that can't cast shadows, and then they're not emitting light to you. So you have to fake that a little bit, and I can show you how I do this. This is another program that you use for 3D scanning, but this is Photogrammetry. Photogrammetry is another way of 3D scanning because it's not creating particles like Gaussian splatting. It really creates, or it tries, let's say it best, it tries to create an actual mesh, so an actual 3D model. This is how it looks like in particle style. You can see the fair hall. This is what it can create. As you can see, the quality is very low. But what I did is I recreated the floor. I can show you this right here, but I can show you an unrelated. That you have an absolute mesh to stand on. That the texture of the surrounding is projected onto it, that I can then later use to combine with Gaussian splatting and actual mesh. So this is what I show you now.
So you're mixing and matching like the Gaussian splat with the photogrammetry, so to combine the best of both worlds, basically.
Exactly right, and that needs a little bit of tweaking, but I kind of I'm kind of good at tweaking stuff till it looks right. Just take your time. So this is the combination. It looks exactly the same as showed before, but now, as you can see, this what I'm moving here, this is a Gaussian splatting model. There's no collision on there, there's no light, it's basically just cloudy particles, basically. And this here, this is the floor. And as you can see, when I remove the Gaussian splatting model, this is how the floor looks. It tries to project what is there to create an actual floor texture, and it kind of worked, as you can see here. And then you just have to add the Gaussian splatting model on top of it. And there's also something else, which I can show you now. So this is what photogrammetry tried to recreate from the actual scene. As you can see, it is very mushy. So I only used this mesh as a collider, so it's not visible when we actually are in the scene. So I just turn it off, then use only the floor as a visible object, and use only the Gaussian splatting model as a visible object. And then I placed big light objects here, a big blue orb and a big yellow orb, to get a little bit of that ambient lighting there. And when I'm in the play mode, so actually walking around, that's what's happening now. And there we are.
So in the background, what we're seeing, this is, by the way, Meadow, like our Meadow framework running natively in the Unreal Engine. So it's not currently in the browser because we haven't deployed this environment, obviously, but this is how like our in-engine editor kind of looks like, right?
Exactly, right. So as you can see here, now everything kind of fits together, because there's a shadow on the floor.
Yeah.
Of my avatar that wouldn't be possible without the
photogrammetry
recreation of the floor, exactly, for the photogrammetry part. We also have light, as you can see. If I move my character in here, it becomes more blue because there's a little bit of ambient light. And if I run a little bit to our friends at Builder AI, there's a little bit more of a yellow tint to my avatar. And now I can actually walk around in the Web Summit Pavilion 4. And I have to say, it feels like I'm there right now, because I was there 3 days, so I kind of know where I have to go now to find a socket for my phone to load or something. I think where I have to move left to get to our place. As funny things, people that weren't moving during the time I was capturing are actually froze into
They're
the
also
shot.
on the scan. Yeah, okay.
As you can see here, yeah. Right.
Nice.
And when I move to the crowd, slowly but surely the whole scan dissolves into an illusion of what everything is basically. And I run back, it turns back.
Okay.
And we're here.
So the interesting part about this, in my opinion, is the production time that it took you, right? So you were talking about like just a few minutes walking around taking pictures. Can you give us a glimpse into the actual like material that you fed the Postshot software with?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, it took me about 3 minutes, maybe even 2 minutes to walk around. So these are, it's very quick. So these are the pictures. Wait, Unreal takes a lot of.
So no special equipment, just your phone. You're saying in this case you just took like a image sequence like you would have done previously for photogrammetry, or did you do anything else there?
No, just these images. And as you can see, these images are of very bad quality, as you can see it.
Yeah, it's super dark, super high.
Very dark,
high ISO,
very noisy. Not the best images. It's actually this is basically the worst quality that's
material you could feed that with.
Exactly, right. Yeah, it couldn't be any worse than this, and then it wouldn't work at all. But it still did.
And you taking image sequences instead of video because of the blurriness that the video creates, like when you just
Yeah, I mean there's a little bit of motion blur in here because phone cameras that just can't handle that darkness. They either have to crank the ISO, which means the sensitivity of the sensor, so you get more noise, or you have to expose the image for longer, and then you get motion blur. So it's two bad things that you have to kind of balance. And I didn't have much time and not enough calmness to increase the exposure time and just take more time with every picture I take. But for instance, if you take just a nice photo camera or just a usual normal photo camera, this would boost the quality of the scan to like 10 times the quality.
Yeah, I will put some of the proper scans into the final video, so
Yes,
people can
yeah.
see how like an actual scan would look like.
Yeah.
But it's incredible. I find this super useful, and I can see so many use cases where this makes sense to do, like being in the real estate area where you can like just super easily visualize your existing property by like creating these image sequences and then basically being able to tour them remotely, right?
Yeah, exactly. So as you can see, it's good for tours, but you can also augment the scene, right? So you can add virtual objects in there.
Yeah.
And this is just a white cube, but it looks like it's actually there, right?
Yeah, because it also casts shadows into the scene due to the like photogrammetry floor and so. Okay.
Exactly.
So another use case might be you just want to build a new house and you just scan the environment and can place the virtual house on top, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So you this is something that's basically possible only now, to be honest. To have architectural visualization in real time. So it's not pre-rendered, not pictures. You can actually walk around it. Yeah. It's real-time rendered. Photorealistic because the surrounding is actually there as a 3D model. Well, it's a Gaussian Splatting model, but it's there as a 3D environment. And it looks completely photorealistic. So this is only possible now.
All right. I mean, what do you see? What kind of developments do you see in this whole Gaussian Splatting like bubble that we're exploring? Are there like new advancements to come or new papers on the line or something?
There's basically a paper every day. I'm really focused or really interested into this whole topic. So there's a lot of research happening on top of the original Gaussian Splatting paper. So what's really interesting for the near future is ray traced Gaussian Splatting, which means that we don't have to recreate artificially the lighting of the scene. We could actually use those Gaussian Splattings as a light emitter, and then everything looks even more realistic, and we could even use it for reflections, because right now there's also no possibility to see the Gaussian Splatting scene in virtual objects that have reflection or sharp reflections. It's still not possible in this kind of rendering here, because it's completely different rendering pipeline. The Gaussian Splatting is one thing, and the virtual objects that we have here is another thing. And they're rendered separately, and in the end get glued together to form one cohesive image. But that's gonna change in the near future to have it in one pipeline, basically. So this is a big thing, and then Gaussian Splatting in general gets better. The whole quality, the adaptations of the single programs, because right now it's still kind of a hack to get things in here because it's so new. So I really hope that Gaussian Splatting becomes Unreal native. So Unreal has its own importer, maybe it's even its own calculator as a trainer for Gaussian Splatting. And then it's, as you can see, I used my phone to do this, and it is very easy. So this opens up the possibility for a lot of people to use this.
What's left to say? Maybe, I mean, we won't upload this environment, obviously, but we have a few scans already in our enterprise demo. So if you go onto entermeadow.com and just try to log in or register for one of our demo tiers, if you go into the enterprise demo, which is also completely for free, by the way, you can try these space or some of the scan spaces out. So also feel free to hit us more questions here in the comments. Thanks so much, Jörg, for this cool tour, and thanks for demonstrating the workflow. I think this is amazing, and I think just that, yeah, like I was saying, I see so many use cases popping up in my head from a sales and marketing perspective. So I'm looking forward to implement these into our communication pipelines as well. I don't know. Any last words from your side?
I just love to show all the stuff that we do. I'm really passionate about this whole scanning thing for years now, and Gaussian Splatting is awesome. So you can expect much more. You can expect much more to see from this.
All right, everyone who stayed until the end, thanks so much for watching and see you next time.